Hey y'all, Camille here with the Capitol Report. Let's jump right into industry business. In our last Capitol Report, I mentioned Senate Bill 371 was motioned to be brought back for consideration, which meant the bill could be called back to the calendar for a vote on the Senate floor any day. This bill, if you remember, is sponsored by Senator Brett Allan and is attempting to decrease the threshold where former operators can be held liable for orphan wells. As of now, the Secretary is authorized to recover restoration costs from former operating parties at $250,000. This bill would lower that level to $100,000. The senator brought the bill back last Monday. Let's hear from Senator Allan on his bill.
But the responsibility to clean these things up lies not on the last person standing. The responsibility to clean up lies on the guy who originally took the permit and did the obligation.
Unfortunately, the bill passed out of the Senate with a vote of 22 yeas and 16 nays. But I wanted to say thank you so much to the senators who voted in support of the industry. We really appreciate it. And I wanted to give a big thank you to Senator Hewitt, who again stood up in defense of our industry. So you might be thinking, now what? Well, this bill will head to the House Natural Resource Committee for deliberation next. So before it heads to that committee, we want to make everyone aware that LOGA strongly opposes this bill. And here are the top 4 points you need to take away about this legislation. Number 1, the bill lowers the threshold where former operators can be held liable for orphan wells. Number 2, lowering this threshold will result in decreased oil and gas production in Louisiana, as companies will plug the wells instead of selling wells to prevent future liability. Number 3, this inherently will lead to more litigation. And finally, number 4, this bill, Senate Bill 371, will make a greater amount of companies who have sold or will sell their property liable for activities of other companies forever. We will keep you updated on the progress of this bill as it moves forward in the process. All right, later in the week, we had a few more bills that dealt with the Orphan Well Program. HB 632 and HB 819, both sponsored by Representative Jim Morris, were up for deliberation in the Senate Natural Resource Committee Thursday. However, Senator Allan, a member of the Natural Resource Committee, and Representative Morris have both agreed to disagree for now and have set up a meeting with the Office of Conservation early next week to aid in moving forward with their legislation. So ultimately, Representative Morris's bills have been moved to next week's agenda after the meeting with Conservation. For more information on these two bills, you can find links to the full text on our Capitol Report resources page. And don't forget to tune in to our next Capitol Report, where we will discuss what happens to these bills in the next committee meeting. Now for a very, very quick budget update. The Revenue Estimating Committee met last Thursday and unfortunately had no good news. The state is still facing a $600 million financial shortfall in the upcoming budget cycle. It looks like we won't know until well into the next fiscal year exactly what the state is bringing in from all the revenue raised. Okay, moving on. More generally, this week started out very lighthearted at the Capitol. In the Senate, President Alario had some fun controlling the mic, while Representative Jay Morris attempted to maybe say something about his butterfly legislation. And over in the House, we received news that baby Lilith was born on May 10th to Representative Stephanie Hilferty, who made history as the first Louisiana representative to have a baby during session. Congratulations, Representative Hilferty. She definitely got the best birthday serenade around. Like I said, while the beginning of the week was really lighthearted, by Wednesday on the House floor, it got a little more intense with Senate Bill 271. This bill basically expands the list of diseases that a physician can recommend medical marijuana for. The bill passed, but not without some heated testimony from Representative Tanner McGee, who specifically gave an impassioned speech on the incarceration issue that our state faces. A link to the full testimony is available on our Capitol Report resources page. Make sure you check it out. You won't regret it. All right, don't forget, as we continue this year's regular session, make sure you keep an eye out for news on the oil and gas industry and the 2016 legislative session right here. And please continue to share this video with your colleagues and friends. Until next time, this is Camille Ivy-O'Donnell with LOGA TV.